16-year-old Lily Harper had learned one thing on America's long highways: no one stopped for a runaway girl. Cars passed her by on Route 66, headlights flashing like brief chances that vanished just as quickly. She had left Oklahoma 3 days ago after her stepfather's anger finally crossed a line she couldn't forgive. With only a faded backpack, $42, and a hoodie too thin for the desert nights, Lily walked west, not knowing where she would end up, only knowing she couldn't go back. By late afternoon, the Arizona sun burned low and unforgiving. Lily's legs ached, her throat felt dry, and fear pressed quietly against her chest. When she spotted a small roadside diner with a flickering neon sign that read, "Mabel's Open," it felt like a miracle. She pushed the door open, a bell ringing softly above her head. The smell of coffee and fried food wrapped around her like something safe. Inside, a few truckers sat in booths, and a tired waitress wiped the counter. Lily ordered water, counting her money carefully. She planned to leave quickly. Runaways didn't stay long anywhere. But before she could stand, a sudden sound cut through the room. A woman near the counter gasped sharply and grabbed her chest. Her coffee cup shattered on the floor. The diner froze. The woman slid from her stool, her face pale, her breathing uneven. Someone whispered, "Oh God." Another voice followed, lower and tense, "That's a Hell's Angel's wife." Fear spread faster than the spill on the floor. People backed away. No one wanted trouble. Lily felt it too, the instinct to step back, to disappear. But as she watched the woman struggle for air, something else surfaced. Memories of her mother, who had once worked as a home nurse before getting sick herself. Lily remembered sitting beside her, listening, learning without realizing it. She moved before she could think. Lily knelt beside the woman, speaking calmly. "Ma'am, look at me." Try to breathe slowly. Her hands trembled, but her voice didn't. She loosened the woman's jacket, guided her into a safer position, and asked the waitress to call 911. The woman's eyes locked onto Lily's, desperate but trusting. Minutes felt like hours. Then the sound came. Deep, thunderous, unmistakable. Motorcycles. Several of them. The windows vibrated as engines roared outside. Lily's heart pounded so hard she thought she might faint. The diner door swung open, and heavy boots stepped in. Leather vests, patches, beards, hard eyes. Hell's Angels. The room went silent. Lily stayed where she was, her hands still steadying the woman. She felt the presence of the bikers behind her like a storm, but she didn't move away. One man pushed forward, his face sharp with fear rather than anger. He dropped to his knees beside his wife. "What happened?" he asked, his voice rough. The man's eyes searched Lily's face, weighing her words, her age, her courage. "She collapsed," Lily said quickly, explaining everything she had done, how the woman's breathing had been shallow, how she kept her talking, how the ambulance was on the way. The biker nodded, his jaw tight, listening closely. Around them, the other Hell's Angels stood guard, scanning the diner, their presence heavy but controlled. Sirens cut through the tension like a blade. Relief washed over Lily so fast her hands almost gave out. Paramedics rushed in, professional and focused, taking over without hesitation. The biker stepped back to give them room but never let go of his wife's hand. As they lifted her onto the stretcher, she turned her head weakly and found Lily's eyes. "Thank you," she whispered. Those two words hit Lily harder than anything else had in days. At the hospital, Lily sat alone in the waiting area, the adrenaline slowly fading. Now that everything was quiet, fear crept in. She was a runaway. She had no ID, no parents nearby, no place to go. What if someone asked questions? What if the bikers blamed her for something going wrong? An hour passed, then another. Finally, the biker from the diner appeared. Without his helmet and jacket, he looked older, tired, and deeply human. He sat across from Lily, leaving space between them. "Doctor says she'll be fine," he said. "It was a panic-induced cardiac episode. You kept her stable." Lily let out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. "I'm Mark," he added. "That's my wife, Jenna." He paused. Most people ran. Lily stared at the floor. "I couldn't." Mark nodded slowly, as if that answer confirmed something important. He reached into his jacket and placed a small paper bag on the seat beside her, food, warm and fresh. Then an envelope. Lily hesitated before opening it. Inside was money. Enough to eat. Enough to sleep somewhere safe. There's a number in there too, Mark said quietly. If you ever need help. No questions. Lily's eyes burned. Why? She asked. Because you didn't see a biker's wife, he replied. You saw a person. When Mark left, Lily stayed seated for a long time. She thought about her mother, about the road, about how alone she had felt just that morning. The world still scared her. The future was still uncertain. But something inside her had shifted. As dawn crept through the hospital windows, Lily stepped back outside. The air was cool, clean. She adjusted her backpack and started walking again, but her steps felt lighter now. She wasn't invisible. She wasn't powerless. On one of America's loneliest roads, she had chosen courage, and it had answered back. Somewhere behind her, engines roared to life, not as a threat, but as a reminder. Even the hardest people remember kindness. The sun had barely risen when Lily reached the edge of town. The hospital sat quiet behind her now, its white walls glowing softly in the early light. She walked past a closed gas station and rested on the curb, pulling the envelope from her pocket again. The money felt heavy, not just because of what it could buy, but because of what it meant. Someone had trusted her. Someone had seen her. She used part of it to buy breakfast when a small cafe opened. Eggs, toast, and orange juice. It was the first real meal she'd had in days. As she ate, she thought about calling the number Mark had given her. Her thumb hovered over the phone screen, then lowered. Not yet. She wasn't ready to lean on anyone. But knowing the option existed made the road ahead feel less cruel. By noon, Lily found a bus station. With careful planning, she bought a ticket heading west, toward California. She didn't know what waited there, maybe work, maybe more struggle, but the idea of the ocean felt hopeful. On the bus, she watched deserts turn into towns, and towns blur into fields. For the first time since running away, she slept without fear. 2 days later, Lily stood outside a small community center near the coast. A sign on the door read, "Volunteers needed, kitchen and first aid training." She hesitated, then stepped inside. The air smelled of soup and cleaning supplies. A woman behind the desk smiled and asked if she could help. Lily swallowed. I think I can help you." Over the next weeks, Lily learned routines, how to prep meals, how to bandage minor wounds, how to listen. She didn't share her whole story, but she shared enough. The staff didn't push. They offered a spare room, chores in exchange, and something Lily hadn't realized she missed: structure. Purpose. One afternoon, a familiar rumble echoed outside. Lily froze. Motorcycles. Her heart raced as several bikes pulled up, but this time, fear didn't take over. Mark stepped off one of them, holding a helmet under his arm. Jenna stood beside him, healthier now, smiling gently. Lily walked out slowly, unsure what to say. "We were passing through," Jenna said. "Thought we'd check on our hero." They talked briefly, about the road, about recovery, about second chances. Before leaving, Jenna hugged Lily carefully. "You saved my life," she said. "Now make something of yours." As the bikes disappeared down the road, Lily felt no need to follow. Her journey wasn't about running anymore. It was about choosing where to stand. That night, Lily wrote her name on the volunteer schedule for the next month. She looked out toward the dark ocean and felt steady. The past still existed. The future was still unknown. But Lily had learned something powerful on America's highways. One brave choice can change everything, and sometimes, it can change you most of all. Lily looked up at him and answered honestly. She had nothing else to give.